friends, family, and that one weird guy in the corner. As of today, both Bedrock 1.19.70 and Java's 1.19.4 has officially released. Don't ask how Bedrock has 66 more updates than Java, I can't explain it either. But to summarize the Java update first, a lot of 1.19.4 has a whole bunch of bug fixes as well as accessibility. What I mean by accessibility is, now with a whole bunch of glints inside the game, they're pretty much gone, as we can see with the potions. Well, I mean, maybe gone is probably the wrong word for it. I mean, just look at the netherite armor I have in my hand. There's still a glint there, but when we go into third person, it's really hard to see that glint. But if you want to see that glint even less, then actually just head into the options and just turn it all the way down. But if you want to see it even faster, then turn it just as high as you want it to go. And if I'm honest, it looks pretty much like what it did before. I really can't tell any difference here. But I guess with the potions or the glints on armor or something like that, it's made to distinguish different types of armors and make it easier to distinguish potions and things like that. Which is fine and all, but I still would have liked at least a subtle glint. But if you're kind of disappointed in that, then let me bring you some good news in the fact that now Java has one of a Bedrock parody, being now you can actually pipe in actual music discs into jukeboxes, as we can see right here. As well as that, now actually jukeboxes can now take redstone signals now, up to 15. But if you think all this stuff with jukeboxes is kind of confusing, then let me make it just a little bit more confusing, or a little less confusing now, because now there's actually every single type of painting actually has its own unique style of painting, at least in the creative menu. On top of that, the Create New World screen has been completely changed to look like this now. And there's been a whole bunch of other types of changes related to horses, related to player damage, and a whole bunch of other things like that in the Java update. But what does 1.19.70 have for us Bedrock players? You see how I'm drinking this potion, how it is pretty much centered at the center of the screen? Well, before, when you actually say minimize the game, when you actually drink or eat, it wouldn't necessarily be in the center of the screen, but now as this one update, it should now be centered in the center of the screen again. And yes, I know how exciting that change must sound, but something that's way more exciting is now with the fact that now when you actually breed two horses together, now their stats will actually coincide with the baby they actually have. Wait, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing something wrong here. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but they're not breeding. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Can you tell I don't play around with horses enough? Okay, but bottom line, when you actually feed them, whatever baby you have, they will have, combined stats with the two parents. Which means, finally, in time, if you actually want to get yourself, the top horse inside the game, you can actually do that now. But now if you're angry for some reason that parent horses can now give stats to baby horses, then don't worry, you're not alone, because with villagers, when you actually punch them, now they will actually emit the particles we can see right there if they are actually outside of a village. Also in this update, Mojang just confirmed that fire, as this one update, is still fire. Mainly because, as we noticed, the witch drank a fire resistant potion on top of a campfire, which means that is fire that would have set someone on fire. But at least, at least the witches know what's up. Almost as much as in this update, now no block sounds are actually linear, meaning I believe the further away you get, the sound doesn't necessarily immediately fade away. I'm probably completely wrong with that assumption, but that's what I believe is happening here. And there's of course tons and tons of other changes and things like that in 1.19.70, but in the case that you are playing around with experimental features or something like that, you might notice a few extra additions here and there. One of which being with this guy we can see right here. Ooh, and this guy. I can't forget about him. Oh, and all these too. Oh, which also means this. Oh, we gotta have this too. So yeah, if you couldn't tell, 1.20 experimental features have been just implemented inside of a 1.19.70. I implore you, do not try these out in a world you actually care about, because again, these things are really unstable. But in case you want to at least get a feel for new 1.20 features that's been introduced in snapshots and previews the past couple weeks, and then they are totally available. But for the most part, between 1.19.4 and 1.19.70, those are some of the most exciting things I found. So yeah, play around with the update. Thanks for watching, and ooh, I didn't even realize that Bedrock's arm moved when you brush the sand. That's kind of weird.